Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers Channel. Today we will learn about the issue of devastating revelations and shocking confrontations that will shake Port Charles to its very core on Friday, February 6. The upcoming episode promises to deliver intense drama as Willow Kane continues her dangerous manipulation while Harrison Chase's increasingly troubling obsession threatens to destroy his marriage to Brooklyn Quartermain. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos will share significant custody news with his parents that could have far-reaching implications for the entire Corinthos family. The episode kicks off with an explosive conversation between Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor that will expose just how deeply concerned Trina has become about Willow's behavior and mental state. Trina will unleash a passionate rant to Kai, expressing her profound fears about what Willow might be capable of doing next. Trina's intuition has been warning her that something is terribly wrong with Willow, and she won't hold back in sharing these concerns with Kai. Her words will carry an ominous weight as she tells Kai that people in Port Charles simply don't understand the full extent of what Willow could potentially do if pushed too far, or if her carefully constructed facade continues to crumble. Kai Taylor, who has been quietly observing the situation from his own unique perspective, may begin to voice his own mounting concerns about Willow spending extended periods of time around her children. Wiley Corinthos and little Amelia Corinthos. The thought of those innocent children being in close proximity to someone who might be emotionally unstable or even dangerous will weigh heavily on Kai's conscience. The conversation could take an even darker turn if Kai decides to share his suspicions with Trina, specifically his growing belief that Willow might have somehow been directly involved in causing Drew Kane's devastating stroke. This revelation would add another layer of horror to an already tense situation, suggesting that Willow's actions go far beyond emotional manipulation and may have crossed into genuinely criminal territory. At General Hospital, Willow will have a revealing conversation with Elizabeth Baldwin that will showcase just how twisted her thinking has become regarding Drew's current condition and her role in his care. Willow will confidently tell Elizabeth that Drew belongs at home with her, speaking with an unsettling sense of ownership over the man she nearly destroyed. Elizabeth, always perceptive and caring, may gently question whether Willow is truly prepared to handle the enormous responsibility of caring for someone in Drew's severely compromised state. After all, Drew requires round-the-clock attention and specialized medical care that goes far beyond what most people could provide in a home setting. However, Willow will dismiss any concerns with chilling confidence, insisting that she is the only person who can truly give Drew what he needs right now. Her words will carry a double meaning that Elizabeth won't fully comprehend, but viewers will understand the sinister undertones. While Willow has arranged for a part-time caregiver to assist with Drew's basic medical needs, she has made it abundantly clear that she will be the primary person in charge of his care. What Elizabeth and others don't realize is that Willow takes a perverse and disturbing pleasure in watching Drew suffer, trapped in his own body and completely at her mercy. The true horror of Drew's situation cannot be overstated. Although he cannot speak a single word or move any part of his body on his own, his mind remains completely aware of everything happening around him. He is essentially a prisoner inside his own paralyzed body, forced to watch and listen as his life unfolds without any ability to communicate, protest, or defend himself. This makes him the perfect victim for Willow's twisted revenge plan, as he can understand every word she says but is completely powerless to respond or seek help. Thursday's episode will feature a particularly shocking moment when Willow reveals her true nature to Drew in a private conversation that no one else will witness. She may stand over his bed, looking down at him with cold satisfaction and quietly gloat about how perfectly her plan has worked. She could remind Drew that she was the one who shot him, reveling in the fact that she has successfully gotten away with this heinous act, while everyone else in Port Charles remains completely oblivious to the truth. Willow might lean in close and whisper a chilling warning to the helpless man that he will never get out of that bed, that she will make sure he remains trapped in this living nightmare for as long as she deems necessary. The psychological torture she inflicts on Drew goes beyond the physical damage she has already caused, demonstrating just how far she has fallen into darkness. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos will seek out his parents, Carly and Sonny Corinthos, to share important news about the custody arrangement he has negotiated with Willow regarding their children. Michael will explain that they have reached a compromise involving a 60-40 custody split that works in his favor, giving him the majority of parenting time with Wiley and Amelia. Michael will emphasize to his parents that the alternative to accepting this agreement was completely unacceptable, forcing him to make this difficult decision to put the matter to rest rather than continue fighting in a prolonged and potentially damaging custody battle. Sonny Corinthos, ever the pragmatist when it comes to family matters, should view this compromise as a positive development. From his perspective, Michael has secured the better end of the deal and can maintain his primary role in his children's lives while avoiding the messy public spectacle of a contentious custody fight. Sonny has always believed in protecting the family's interests while maintaining some semblance of peace when possible, so this resolution would align with his worldview. However, Carly may not share Sonny's optimistic assessment of the situation. Carly has always had sharp instincts when it comes to threats against her children, and her maternal protective instincts will be screaming that something is wrong with this arrangement. Carly may voice her serious concerns to Michael, warning him in no uncertain terms that Willow cannot be trusted. Her instincts would be absolutely correct, as viewers know that Willow has just finished setting Michael up by secretly placing the extra key to Drew's penthouse on Michael's keychain. This calculated move could potentially frame Michael for Drew's shooting if the truth ever begins to emerge, showing that Willow is always thinking several steps ahead and ensuring she has multiple layers of protection for herself. The custody agreement itself may become a source of manipulation for Willow, who could use her time with the children as leverage or even as a way to further her own agenda. Carly's warnings about Willow's untrustworthiness should serve as an ominous foreshadowing of conflicts yet to come. Harrison Chase's storyline will take a dramatic turn as his obsession with defending Willow and vilifying Michael reaches a breaking point that threatens to destroy his marriage. Chase may learn about the custody compromise and react with completely disproportionate anger and frustration. Rather than seeing the agreement as a reasonable resolution, Chase may explode with rage, insisting that Willow deserves far more, possibly a 50-50 split or even full custody of her children. His reasoning stems from his unwavering belief that Michael was the one who shot Drew, a belief that has consumed his thoughts and clouded his judgment to a dangerous degree. Brooklyn Quartermain will finally reach her limit with Chase's irrational behavior and single-minded fixation on Willow's situation. She has watched her husband spiral deeper into this obsession, neglecting their own relationship and seemingly unable to think about anything else besides defending Willow and attacking Michael. On Thursday's episode, Brooklyn will make a stand demanding to know why Chase cannot simply let this issue go and move on with their lives. Her frustration will be palpable as she confronts her husband about his priorities and his concerning inability to maintain appropriate boundaries when it comes to his ex-girlfriend. The confrontation between Chase and Brooklyn will escalate into a major blow-up that could have serious consequences for their marriage. Chase will seem fixated on Willow once again, and Brooklyn will rightfully question whether he has truly moved past his feelings for his former fiancée. The argument will expose deep cracks in their relationship and force both of them to confront uncomfortable truths about where they stand. Brooklyn deserves a husband who is fully present in their marriage, not someone who is emotionally invested in defending another woman at the expense of his own marriage and family relationships. In another corner of Port Charles, Alexis Davis will receive a visit in her law office from Curtis Ashford, who will be seeking legal counsel regarding a deeply personal and complicated family matter. Curtis will approach Alexis looking for assistance and guidance about his legal options when it comes to compelling Portia Robinson to undergo a paternity test to determine whether he or Taggart is the biological father of her unborn child. The situation has clearly been eating away at Curtis, and he wants to know if there is any legal recourse available to him to force the issue rather than waiting indefinitely for Portia to make a decision on her own timeline. Alexis, drawing on her extensive legal experience and knowledge of family law, will likely have to deliver some disappointing news to Curtis. She may explain that forcing someone to undergo a paternity test before a baby is born presents significant legal challenges and may not be practically feasible. The law generally protects pregnant women's bodily autonomy, and compelling medical procedures against someone's will is an extremely high legal bar to clear. Alexis may counsel Curtis that his best course of action is to exercise patience and allow Portia to proceed with the paternity test on her own. Terms and timeline. Portia has already indicated her willingness to eventually get a DNA test to definitively establish paternity, but she wants to do so when she feels ready and under circumstances that she can control. Alexis may urge Curtis to respect Portia's position and trust that she will follow through on her commitment when the time is right. Pushing too hard or attempting to force the issue through legal channels could backfire and create even more tension and animosity between Curtis and Portia, potentially damaging any hope of an amicable co-parenting relationship in the future. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Curtis will find ways to distract himself from this stressful situation by rekindling the romance with his ex-wife Jordan Ashford in upcoming episodes. The renewed connection with Jordan will provide Curtis with emotional support and comfort during this uncertain time, though it may also complicate matters further if Portia discovers that Curtis has moved on with Jordan while still dealing with the paternity. With question. The coming days and weeks in Port Charles promise to be filled with shocking revelations, dangerous secrets, and explosive confrontations that will change multiple lives forever. Next, we will learn about the heartwarming and deeply personal moment that Maurice Bernard shared with his followers this week, revealing his ongoing journey with anxiety and the unexpected interruptions that turned a serious message into a beautiful reminder of what truly matters in life. The beloved General Hospital star opened up about his mental health struggles in a way that resonated with thousands of fans, proving once again why he remains one of the most authentic voices in daytime television. Earlier this week, specifically on Sunday, Maurice Bernard sat down with Josh Swickard for an episode of his popular podcast, State of Mind, where the two actors delved into the complexities of mental health challenges. During this candid conversation, Maurice revealed something particularly striking about his personal battle with anxiety. He had given his anxiety a name, calling it Freddy Krueger, the infamous horror movie villain known for haunting people's nightmares. This naming convention wasn't just a casual reference, it represented how Maurice had been conceptualizing his anxiety as something external, something terrifying that invaded his peace of mind, much like the fictional character invaded dreams. However, just 2 days later, on Tuesday, Maurice found himself reconsidering this approach to understanding his anxiety. What started as a serious Instagram video, meant to share his thoughts and experiences with his dedicated followers, took an unexpectedly delightful turn when his world was photobombed by none other than Buddy the Goat, his beloved farm animal who has become something of a social media sensation in his own right. This spontaneous interruption would ultimately underscore the very message Maurice was trying to convey about dealing with mental health. Challenges in real time. For those who have followed Maurice Bernard's career both on screen and off, it's well established that the actor doesn't shy away from discussing mental health issues. ABC soap opera enthusiasts are intimately familiar with how Maurice brings his real-life experiences with bipolar disorder and anxiety into his portrayal of Sonny Corinthos, one of General Hospital's most iconic characters. The fictional Sonny has battled mental health challenges on screen, and Maurice has consistently used his platform to break down the stigma surrounding these issues. Whether through his State of Mind podcast, his Instagram posts, or various other social media platforms, Maurice has become a beacon of hope and understanding for countless individuals struggling with similar challenges. This particular Tuesday morning found Maurice stepping outside into the fresh air, positioning himself in front of his phone camera to record a message for his followers. His expression was serious, his tone reflective as he began to share what had transpired the previous evening. Maurice revealed that he had experienced an anxiety attack the night before, one of those overwhelming moments that anyone who suffers from anxiety knows all too well. The racing thoughts, the physical sensations, the feeling of being trapped inside your own mind with no clear escape route. But Maurice wanted to share more than just the fact that he'd had an anxiety attack. He wanted to explain how he had chosen to handle it, hoping that his approach might help others facing similar struggles. Rather than employing his usual metaphor of anxiety as a monster to be feared and fled from, Maurice explained that he had made a conscious decision to stay in the moment. This mindfulness approach, which mental health professionals frequently recommend, involves acknowledging the anxiety without judgment and experiencing it fully rather than trying to suppress it or run away from it. It's about accepting the uncomfortable feelings and allowing them to pass naturally, like watching clouds move across the sky. As Maurice continued speaking to the camera, He revealed something that would fundamentally change his perspective on how he conceptualizes his anxiety struggles. He shared wisdom that came directly from his wife, Paula Bernard, who has been his steadfast partner and supporter throughout their marriage. Paula had offered him a powerful insight that challenged the very foundation of how he'd been thinking about his anxiety. She told him plainly, "Stop giving it power. It's not a monster. The monster is in your thoughts." This simple yet profound statement represented a paradigm shift in understanding the anxiety itself wasn't some external creature like Freddy Krueger invading from outside. Rather, it was the way his thoughts were interpreting and amplifying his internal experiences that created the monster-like perception. Maurice was attempting to elaborate on this concept, explaining to his followers that dealing with anxiety is simply part of the reality for those who struggle with mental health issues. Life doesn't pause for anxiety attacks, it continues moving forward, and sufferers have to find ways to navigate through these challenges while still participating in daily existence. He was building toward what seemed like a deeply philosophical discussion about acceptance, resilience, and the ongoing nature of mental health management. But then, in a moment that perfectly illustrated the unpredictability of life and the healing power of innocent joy, Maurice's serious monologue was suddenly interrupted. His granddaughter, affectionately known as TT, appeared in the frame with all the spontaneous energy that only a young child possesses. Her presence was immediately felt, laughter bubbled forth, giggles filled the air, and she wrapped her arms around her grandfather in an embrace that spoke volumes about their relationship. How could anyone maintain a stern, serious demeanor in the face of such pure, unbridled happiness? The answer, of course, is that they can't, and Maurice was no exception. As if TT's interruption wasn't enough to derail the serious tone of Maurice's message, Buddy the Goat decided to make his presence known as well. The goat, who has become a beloved fixture on Maurice's social media accounts, wandered into the frame with perfect comedic timing. There's something inherently joyful about animals. They exist entirely in the present moment, free from the anxieties about the past or worries about the future that plague human consciousness. Buddy's appearance seemed to embody exactly what Maurice had been trying to articulate about staying in the moment. The transformation in Maurice was instantaneous and profound. The rather grim, serious expression that had characterized the beginning of his video melted away, replaced by genuine laughter and a smile that reached all the way to his eyes. Here was a real-time demonstration of what he'd been discussing, theoretically how connection, love, and living in the present moment can interrupt and dispel the grip of anxiety. Animals and grandchildren, with their absolute presence and unconditional affection, simply cannot coexist alongside anxiety in the same space. Their innocent joy acts like sunshine breaking through storm clouds, pushing away the darkness almost effortlessly. This touching and authentic moment resonated deeply with Maurice's extensive fan base, and the comment section on his Instagram post quickly filled with responses from followers who felt moved by what they'd witnessed. The interaction demonstrated the powerful connection Maurice has cultivated with his audience through his vulnerability and honesty. One particular fan captured the sentiment of many when they wrote an encouraging message that acknowledged both the spiritual and practical dimensions of dealing with anxiety. This follower shared their perspective, "Amen, and to know that God doesn't want us to stay in that mind phase. We are better than that. It's okay to feel like that, but don't let it get the best of you. We have control over how we feel. God bless you, Maurice, and listen to your wife. She is your medicine." This comment highlighted several important themes: the validation that it's acceptable to experience anxiety, the encouragement to not let it become overwhelming, the reminder of personal agency in managing emotions, and the recognition of Paula's crucial supportive role in Maurice's life. Indeed, Paula Bernard has been a constant source of strength and wisdom for Maurice throughout their relationship. General Hospital fans who follow Maurice's personal life have witnessed time and again how Paula provides both emotional support and practical guidance. Her advice to stop giving anxiety power and to recognize that the monster exists in thoughts rather than reality represents the kind of insightful perspective that can only come from someone who has walked alongside a loved one through mental health challenges. She understands Maurice intimately and knows exactly what he needs to hear when anxiety strikes. But Paula isn't the only family member who supports Maurice in his mental health journey. His son Joshua Bernard has also proven to be a tremendous source of encouragement and understanding. The Bernard family's approach to mental health is remarkably open and supportive, creating an environment where struggles can be acknowledged without shame and where healing happens through connection rather than isolation. Maurice's lighthearted moment with TT and Buddy served as a poignant reminder of an uncomfortable truth not everyone is fortunate enough to have: such sources of joy and comfort in their lives. While watching Maurice laugh with his granddaughter and be photobombed by his goat was heartwarming, it also highlighted the isolation that many people experiencing anxiety and mental health challenges face. If only everyone struggling with anxiety could have a TT and a Buddy in their corner, perhaps the burden would feel lighter. Unfortunately, not everyone has access to such unconditional love and present moment joy.